Hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. It is Friday, the 17th, and of course, we are back with some more Arsenal news, of course, as well as tomorrow, evening game, Arsenal face Aston Villa. Emery versus Arteta once again is back on the radar, so we're definitely gonna have to be prepared for that one because Emery more or less has the number on Arteta when we meet, and the games don't always go the way we want. Sometimes they go the way we want and we actually win, but there are times when they don't go as planned, and it has been a rough one. There are times when they have totally dominated us. There have been times when they have dominated us and won, and obviously when they have dominated us and lost, like this season when we should have basically been 2-0 down before it. We went 1-0 up, of course. So we're gonna look into that. We're gonna look some transfer rumors, transfer news that are happening around and surrounding Arsenal, of course. And if we have time, we will look also at Mikel Arteta's pre-Aston Villa match press conference. Of course, they'll be starting 11 game score predictions and all that stuff, but the press conference will be a bit of a 50-50 one depending on the time, of course. So if you're new around here, don't forget to smash thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, like the thing, smash the hell out of the thing because it helps the algorithm and helps in general. Leave your thoughts down in the live chat, and you know the rest. If you're watching this to playback, leave your comments down below. I answer to pretty much every single comment. Today we're gonna kick things off with this. Obviously, according to transfer.com, Arsenal have agreed personal terms and a huge wage increase with Zubimendi. Now this comes off from the back with the news that Arsenal apparently have agreed to deal for Zubimendi, but Zubimendi is gonna join only in summer, hence we are only gonna pay in summer. Arsenal wanted him to join right now, but Real Sociedad kinda insisted of him to staying till the end of the season. Now, two things, as I have said in previous stream, as I said, it's the fact that if Arsenal were willing for him to join right now, which means that the 51 million Arsenal should be paying up front since it's the release clauses, we have the money. We have the money to spend in this transfer window specifically, at least 51 million. Obviously, Arsenal are not tied by PSR, FFP rules and stuff like that. So the big question is, if we have the money, why the hell we are still not doing anything? Because it's January 17th. More than 2 weeks we are in January, over the halfway through. It's pretty much 14 days till January ends, and transfer window shuts closed. And we still have not seen any improvements in the squad whatsoever. There have been some random rumors, some random reports, but ultimately nothing concrete and nothing has materialized as of yet. Meanwhile, Manchester City have signed 3 players. They signed Haaland on a 9.5-year deal and are moving big. Now, obviously, it could be due to the 115, as we all know. Could be also due to the fact that they might not get fined at all. That's why they're doing all these things, and maybe they're trying to tie down players to make to smaller contracts just in case. But back to Arsenal. Let's not talk about City too much. Arsenal have agreed with a huge wage increase, to sign Zubimendi. Now, what are the Zubimendi's wages? Zubimendi currently is on 50 grand a week, 50,000 pounds a week. So that is a bit of an interesting one. He's on 50,000 a week. If it's a huge wage increase, you would think that it's like a double. I don't want to think that it's a triple, but because if it's a triple, it's hell of a big one. So we'll have to wait and see how that develops, how that goes. But again, there is one big thing. I'm not doing this. Oh my god, he has signed. Oh my god, Arsenal have signed Zubimendi type of situation. I'm not gonna get too excited until we actually see him in an Arsenal shirt. Fabrizio Romano tweets, here we go, and all that stuff. Ornstein confirms it and everything, because it's half a year. Lots of things can happen, things can change, opinions can change, minds can change and everything. So it actually could be a bit of a rough one if that falls through. We could generally put ourselves in a Liverpool situation, what happened to them in summer kind of with Zubimendi. So obviously time remains to be seen, but according to transfer.com, apparently Arsenal have agreed the personal terms, the massive salary increase. Now, if we move on, things you don't want to see if you are an Arsenal fan, especially in the transfer rumor mill, is the fact that Real Madrid are keen to sign 23-year-old Saliba in the summer. Obviously, Real Madrid have issues with center backs. They are aging quite rapidly. David Alaba is like 33, I think. Rudiger is 32. They're getting injured. Militao gets injured left, right, and center with ACLs and everything. They have to play youngsters. They play Chouameni at center back even as well. So they need some replacements. So they're looking at William Saliba in summer. Now, whether it's going to materialize or not depends to be seen. But the big thing is Real Madrid don't tend to sign players for insane amounts of monies. And in these terms, I mean pay big amounts of monies. I don't mean salaries. I specifically mean transfer amounts. Because I strongly believe to get Saliba out of Arsenal, it would genuinely take insanely substantial amount of money. Insanely substantial. And that's given the fact that Arsenal would be willing to sell him and Saliba would be willing to relocate even, of course. So that is the big one. As we all know, when Real Madrid come knocking as well, it's a completely different knock. When they come, you more or less pretty much go 99% of the time. And if Florentino Perez wants a player, he gets the player. Ultimately, almost every single time. So it's a bit of a rough one. It's a bit of a scary one to look at if you are an Arsenal fan, like me, for example, and anyone if you are watching if you're an Arsenal fan. So it is a scary one in that regard. So we'll have to wait and see how this develops, how this goes. But ultimately, for now, there is nothing to worry about. That's at least for now, for this window specifically. When the summer although strikes and comes here, then we could start to worry a bit, because you can bet your sweet cookie that these rumors will resurface. These rumors will come to light once again. And in summer, things could go either way. Obviously, depends how Real Madrid's defense looks at the time. What have Arsenal done this season specifically? Because if Arsenal managed to win in some freaking way, Premier League or Champions League, Arsenal would have extra, let's just say, extra bargaining chip in terms of maybe trying to convince for Saliba to stay if Saliba actually wants to leave himself. So that obviously remains to be seen, but currently it's just a speculation. But we all know that Real Madrid sent scouts previously during the first part of the season last year to some Arsenal games to watch William Saliba. We all know that, so that already is a bit of a scary part. And now the Real Madrid have been talked with Saliba in the same rumor mill for quite some time. It's not just a one or two off. It's been months. So, yeah, it's a bit of a rough one for an Arsenal fan, especially because we've been waiting for ages. We have gone through some very rough center backs. You know, your Socrateses, Mustafis, Squillaci, Sanderoses, Giroux, and stuff like that. Even Koscielny to some extent. To get to finally where we are in terms of actually proper center back pairing in David Luiz. Oh my god, my brain. In Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. We haven't had a proper center back partnership, I would say, since Keown, since Campbell, since Torres, since those days. So if you are an older Arsenal fan, you've seen Arsenal lift the show at least the once Premier League title. I would say definitely we deserve this. We definitely deserve this, but yeah, the fact that Real Madrid is coming and knocking, it's not a good thought to think about. Then why we don't get Florentino? He knows about attackers. Dude, we are not... Florentino, man. Florentino is the owner of Real Madrid. Florentino Perez. He owns Madrid. He's not coming to Arsenal. Like in that regard, if you mean. Real Madrid stay away. Exactly, from Saliba. That's the big thing. Either stay away, or I don't even know if... Obviously, I would say Arsenal are not open to selling Saliba. I think only way you can pull out Saliba of Arsenal is the way that either Saliba requests transfer himself, like if Arsenal don't win stuff, obviously, or, and as much as I hate to say this, Real Madrid offer insane amount of money. Obviously, we haven't seen Real Madrid do that in a very long time, but if there's a player they realistically want to some desperate levels in a way, it could come to that. And then it will come to a very rough situation for Arsenal. Because Saliba is one of the main attractions at Arsenal, if that makes sense. Obviously, we have a Saka, we have players like that, but Saliba is one of the centerpieces of Arsenal's team. Nor Arteta, nor Kroenkes don't want to see him leave. But there is this but situation, because obviously you never thought that Kane would leave Spurs, for example. But Levi is all about the money, and when you saw some offers being given and offered to Spurs for Harry Kane, and he rejected them all. But as soon as Bayern Munich came in and gave for Harry Kane insane amount of money, he agreed. I as much as I hate to say this, I'm very sorry. As much as I hate to say this to some extent, it could also happen to Kroenkes, because ultimately at the end of the day, this is a business for them. And no matter how they're gonna look at it, Saliba, if they sell him, will be return on investment double, triple time. So obviously it's only time will tell what's gonna happen with Saliba, but currently, don't worry, we are in a safe position regarding Saliba. Come summer, then we can start to worry about this. For now, let's not try to focus on it as much. Now, other news. Obviously, we have been linked to Benjamin Šeško. As the news came out that Arsenal have made contact with Benjamin Šeško, it got quite quickly squashed by Ornstein. But there are some more news on that, exclusive, that Benjamin Šeško's agent, Elvis Basanovic, has spoken on the situation surrounding Benjamin Tesco, if you will. And he said, I don't know from where does these stories come. I never talked with Arsenal about loan of Šeško. Obviously, the rumor was that Arsenal were offering a loan with option to buy, maybe, and something like that. And already then it sounded quite iffy. It sounded quite strange, because even though loaning player with option to buy, it's nothing unique, let's be real. But Arsenal don't operate, they don't sign players with options to buy 99% of the time. On top of that, he is one of RB Leipzig's best players. So it would make no sense for them to loan him out with only option to buy. Unless it was an obligation or straight up purchase, I don't think they would sell or loan him out in general. So that already was a bit of an iffy one. So that's why I think also Benjamin Šeško's agent came out and straighten it out. And he said that he has never talked about loan of Šeško to Arsenal. Šeško is not a player for loans, never a topic for Arsenal or any other club. So basically this means that if you want Šeško, you will have to come and just pay the big bucks, ultimately. There is no release clauses on him anymore, apparently. If I'm not mistaken, he re-signed a new deal, which basically removed the release clauses from his contract, from his situation, which means if Arsenal want to sign him, we will straight up, well, in a way, have to talk with Jurgen Klopp to some extent, straight up, and then we need to discuss the deal in that way. But ultimately, yeah, Šeško, Vlahovic, all those players are not happening this January. Baby Osim and Lookman. I don't know if Arsenal are interested in Lookman, because I haven't heard anything. I generally have not heard or read anything. The rumor mill should be filled with Arsenal being linked with attackers, with strikers, players like that, and it's not. It's genuinely not, and it's very quiet, and that's what's big worry for me, because it's only 2 weeks left in this window, and it's pretty much grave silence from Arsenal's side, and that can only mean two things: either Arsenal's don't know what they want and who they want, or, as we all know, Arsenal tend to do some deals in silence. Because Timber came out of nowhere, it took generally seconds, it felt like, when we signed him. Same happened with Fabio Vieira. Maybe Arsenal are working in the same situation with the future signing in forward department as well. Who knows? Genuinely, who knows? Because I don't buy this crap, and I don't believe that Arsenal are broke. We cannot be broke. There is no way. No way in hell Saliba will be here forever till he retires. He will be better than Sol Campbell in the future. And that is the big thing for me. Only way for Saliba to stay long term after this contract runs out for him in 2027, if I'm not mistaken, and he extends it, is only if we start winning trophies. And in this instance, I don't mean FA Cups and Carabao Cups, which in general Arteta bins like it's nothing. Specifically, I mean with the major ones, Champions League and Premier League. Let's be real, because with Arsenal, it's a big issue. We haven't won a major trophy since in 2 decades. Let's be real. Let's not beat around the bush here. And with Real Madrid, they win major trophies every season. That is the complete opposite. That's generally straight opposite from Real Madrid if you compare them. And that is the big issue, because if you go to Real Madrid, I would say to some extent there is 99.9% chance you are guaranteed the trophy, whether it's Copa del Rey, whether it's Copa de España, well, Super Copa de España, I'm sorry, La Liga, or maybe even Champions League. There are pretty much instant guarantees, because Real Madrid win these things. Yes, you can say, oh, but Super Copa de España is like Charity Shield, or Copa del Rey is like FA Cup and stuff like that. But at the same time, Real Madrid kind of gives you this instance that it's a guarantee, more or less, most of the time. Most of the time with Real Madrid, it's a guarantee on a trophy, whether it's the Club World Cup even or anything. It's pretty much a guaranteed trophy. With Arsenal, odds on, we are one of the favorites. Let's just say top 3 in FA Cup, in Carabao Cup, in Premier League, in Champions League, maybe top 5 in this instance, right? But ultimately, with Arsenal, there are no guarantees. With Real Madrid, at least, there are some guarantees. Let's just put it that way. Put Kabia in the right wing and Nathan Butler at striker and Sterling right wing. That is the big thing for me. Our attack is as useless as it is at the moment. Kai Havertz is missing empty net chances left, right and center. He cannot finish chances that even Eddie Nketiah can finish. We don't have enough attackers. You have 4 scrubs, more or less, in the team. You can pick a hat, put the names of them in there, and just pick 3 at random, and that's going to be your attacking front. And that is the big thing. If you need to have something, you might as well risk it for the biscuit and throw kitchen sink at them. Because whether you like it or not, there is Kabia, there's Oyedeji, and players like that. And let's be real, you cannot do worse, pretty much, than Sterling, than Martinelli, than Havertz. It's just almost impossible to do worse. So you might as well give the youngsters the chance and give them a chance to prove themselves. Because given the fact that... How old is Oyedeji? Because I have a bad feeling that he's already over the age group. Yeah, see? Samuel Oyedeji... No, it's not the Oyedeji. It's Nathan Oyedeji. My bad. Under 23. Nathan Oyedeji. See? He is 22. And since he's 22, he still hasn't played for Arsenal. Almost whatsoever, pretty much. And that is the big thing. Same happened with Balogun, Chidobe Martin, players like that. They never got a chance and they basically went away. Same happened to Mika Biereth. We never gave them a chance. And now with Oyedeji being already 22, and his time even in under 23 is coming to an end, and we will have to decide whether to let him go or sign and promote to the full team. At 22, given that the fact that we have a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old in the team, and most of the youngsters that Arsenal have promoted instantly and have played for the team are in teenage years still, most of the time, you could make an argument that Oyedeji is already past the time to get into Arsenal's main team. And basically he will either in summer or after next year see out the contract and he's gone. He generally will be gone. His contract won't be extended. His contract runs out. Actually, I don't know when his contract runs out, but it actually won't be extended. And that is the big issue here, because if you look at Kabia, for example, right? Kabia is much younger, if I'm not mistaken. Where is Kabia? Arsenal. Ismail Kabia. He's 19 years old. He still has a year or two to break into the team, and given that we don't have still a backup for Saka, even though we have Ethan there, he still has a chance. He can play both wings, so he still has a chance. Oyedeji, despite the fact that our striker situation, number 9 position, pretty much is a nightmare, he's still not getting even a chance, even a sniff of the pitch, which means I would put an argument there that his time already has passed in the terms of maybe getting into Arsenal's first team, unless Arteta gives him chance in the second part of the season and he actually hits the ground running and somehow gets it out of nowhere, becomes one of the loudest talked youngsters Arsenal have promoted in a way. I kind of get this feeling that Oyedeji could be already done at Arsenal without even kicking a ball properly for Arsenal, and that for me is the biggest issue. We have had some strikers in the youth level and we have been them all. Let Kabia and Nathan Butler cook, exactly, and put... I get what you mean. There's a big chance Odegaard is going to look very awful today. Big chance. He's gonna go missing because they're gonna get physical with him, they're gonna pressure him, and there's a big possibility that our midfield, unless it's gonna be compact, we're gonna get boxed in and we're gonna get walked through. He misses too damn much. He pisses me off every time I see him on the pitch. You're talking about Odegaard or Havertz here, because it could be either one. Big up Nathan, my guy. Big up, big up, big up. Yeah, so that is the big thing with all the striker issues. It's a weird one. It's a weird one when you look in terms of Arsenal in that regard. Now, if we move on, Arsenal are interested in the next Odegaard. The next Odegaard, and if he plays the same way as Odegaard, oh God forbid, if we sign him, because Odegaard is not as good as people hype him up to be, in a way, if you get what I mean. I know it sounds very controversial, but I know I'm not the only one who shares this opinion, because he basically looks good when the team is playing well, and if the team is struggling, he's one of the main catalysts to why the team is struggling, ultimately. So, and he doesn't show up in big games many times. Okay, Spurs was a bit different. He did everything good besides scoring a goal and giving the final pass, but ultimately he had a somewhat decent game. But ultimately, yeah. But this guy, Sver Nipan, I have never seen Nipan, whatever. I have never seen him play. I don't watch Norwegian League. I don't watch Rosenborg. Maybe if there are Rosenborg fans watching this, maybe someone who watches Norwegian League, maybe they can give me some more insight on him. But he's very, very highly rated. Because as you can see in the first, the quoted tweet, right? The formal offers are yet to be on the table, but both Arsenal and Man City are apparently in the race for him. Rosenborg value Nipan at around £10 million. And this is the two ways I look at this. First way, we need to sign youngsters, because for under 20 team we just let go 30 players and everything, and we need some youngsters because he's gonna play in under 21s and everything, and we need build for the future because these players won't last forever, which stands to reason, stands to make sense and everything. I'm all for that, of course. At the same time, is this the player you need right now? Yes, you can sign him right now and everything, but ultimately right now you don't need Nipan. You need a striker, you need a forward, you need another midfielder, you need two defenders, you need a new goalkeeper. I'm talking already January summer signings overall. You need maybe even a left back to some extent. You're gonna sell some, you need to sign someone. But yeah, that is the big thing. We need attackers and we sign a midfielder. We need attackers, we sign defenders. We need players that get into the first team or into the squad which we can rotate with. We sign youngsters like we did with Setford. So that is the big issue for me here. As much as I want this to buy Nipan and everything, to play, to have future and all that stuff, at the same time, is this specifically a priority given our main team right now? I know it's for future, but at the moment, is actually signing Nipan the main priority right now? Odegaard, the shithouse of a captain. I'm talking about that midget prick that can't even take a fucking shot on target. Odegaard, Sterling, pick your poison. He's cooking right now, about that. I haven't seen him play. I genuinely have not seen him play. That is the big thing. Nipan, I don't know. Is he an 8? Is he a 10? That for me is also a big question. Where does he play? What are his preferred positions? Sver Nipan, 18 years old, so he would be signing for the future, of course, under 21s, and he can play number 8 and number 10 predominantly. He has played as a number 9 as well. Fucking hell. But overall, he plays predominantly number 6 and number 8. Number 8 and number 9 and number 10. So that basically means he's gonna be playing in the position where technically Merino plays, where Rice plays, where Odegaard plays, where technically we still have Fabio Vieira, let's not forget about that. Whether he's gonna come or go, still have no idea. Left back is Miles Lewis Skelly. In 2 years, whether he... for Skelly, the big question for me is at the moment he's playing left back, but in 2-3 years, will he be still a left back, or he will be actually requalified back to his actual position, which is a midfielder? Because, if I'm not mistaken, Skelly said this in an interview, that when he spoke to Arteta in the beginning of the season, when he just got promoted, Arteta said, if you want to play, you will have to play left back. And obviously with Arteta inverting and everything, it kind of makes sense that his qualities are there. On top of that, of course, he's better defensively than Zinchenko and everyone else we have, besides maybe, of course, besides Kieran Tierney. The big thing is he's still 19. He's physically still developing, still growing into his body. He will still need to build up his muscle mass and everything, so that still is the big reason. That's the big question. Will he be ready when the big moment comes? If we buy Naipan, where will Skelly play? And that as much as he's not going to play left back. Naipan is not going to play left back, which means Skelly's left back position actually could be quite secure in that regard. Especially if in summer we want to sell Zinchenko, or even now we are exploring that. Kivior might be leaving and everything. So we are selling some multiple left back options. Tierney is leaving, so we are selling 3 out of our 5 or 6, or maybe even Tomiyasu, 3 out of 5 left backs we are selling, which means that spot for Skelly comes very obtainable. So I would think that he's gonna keep him as a left back, at least until Arteta is here. It feels that way. It generally when we are getting linked with all these Naipens, Setfords, Porters, and all that stuff. Then we see this PR from Arsenal coming out that Max Dauman, a 15-year-old, is training with the main squad. Then you'll see Skelly, Vanieri, and everyone. It feels like we are kind of, as much as I love playing our own players, using our own players for a change and not spending 50 million on Fabio Vieira randomly, who is generally useless. If that's comparatively, obviously Fabio Vieira was 35 million, but you get my point. As much as I am all for it, if we sell our old guys and we promote them, at the end of the day, it means that we have again like a 21-year-old squad, which is not experienced enough, and we're gonna start the rebuilding process once again. So I don't get that. Rice Merino, exactly. Rice Merino played there, which means that Naipen most likely is gonna be a 10 backup for Odegaard. Or, well, depends. He's still 18. That is the big thing with Naipen. He's still 18. He would play for Arsenal's under 18s, under 21s, under 23s. He still will have about 3 years or 4, maybe, to integrate into everything, so time only would tell. Play Rice. Oh, no. Don't play Rice as a number 10. He's not good enough in general. He's not good enough to play as Nate, and he's not good enough to play as a 10. So Rice is very decent and very good as an 8, but he's not good enough as well. So I want to see Rice as a 6. I generally want to see Rice as a 6. I'm going to keep on that. Naipan is a left. That is the big issue. That for me is the biggest issue because Rice plays as a left 8 and he's also right-footed. And I think we have had few games where we play actually a left-footed number 8 on the left-footed player in the 8 spot, right, in the left 8. And it works as a charm because that left foot that is on the outside is actually catered to that side, that we can play it that way. And I think that is also one of the biggest reasons why at times Odegaard, well, quite a bit, is struggling in the right 10. Because he's left-footed player with no right foot playing on the right, where predominantly players should be right-footed. Because these days it's all about the system, and the system, I know it doesn't dictate it, but for system to flow better, if that makes sense, you need a right-footed player on the right, left-footed player on the left, at least in midfield or as we all know, center backs and everything. So that is also a big question. Let's just say Odegaard played more on the left. That could also maybe be a thing. Better than Odegaard, enough said. Swap Odegaard for him. Dude, not a big fan of Odegaard, Marlon. I can see that. The inverted bullshit needs to stop. That's the thing, we are not even playing 3 at the back. When we invert, we're playing 2 at the back half the time. Saliba, Gabriel, then one of maybe a number 6 drops back into that center back spot, or as a wing back, or if our wing back pushes up and everything. It's kind of weird. Zinchenko is going to Milan, or I heard that Zinchenko has been linked with Inter Milan and he's linked with Borussia Dortmund. The mad part is the left back position for Inter Milan, for example, they have DiMarco. Why the hell would they play Zinchenko as a left back? With Inzaghi and his defensive 5 at the back type of strategy, I think he genuinely would be playing actually as a midfielder. That actually would be kind of interesting to see. Because Arteta is genuinely feels like against playing Zinchenko as an 8 or a 10 even. Because Zinchenko is something like a 10 more than an 8 even. I remember all the Saka days. Dude. There's only Saka. That shithouse was only Saka backup dancer. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to say about this. But this Naipan, whatever happens, happens, obviously. But for me personally, as much as we need to build for the future and we need the youth in the youth setup, we need players right now. We need winners, we need experienced players, we need someone who can raise the level, raise the roof of the team, and we are not linked with anyone. And that's what's very annoying. That's what's very, very annoying. And of course, we touched on Man City a bit in the beginning of the stream. And here it is. Some people who are aware of the situation of the 115 charges against Man City believe that the club will not be punished with anything more than a fine. The verdict is expected in March. And let's be real, given how Man City are signing players currently, 3 already, and they have signed Haaland to a 9.5-year deal, it kind of screams the fact that they are not going to get fined. That's what I'm taking from this. Because there's no other reason to sign them. Genuinely, there's no other reason why to sign them to some extent and to such a quick pace. Grown 26-year-old man can't do shot without... It's mad. It's mad. Fabrizio said Arsenal made many phone calls, but there are... That's the thing. They have made many phone calls. Did he said that the teams answered to him even? To Arsenal. Because we saw what happened with Lachovic. He left us on red on WhatsApp messages. 2 blue ticks, no answer. That's it. Aired. Like most of the girls in most big guys' DMs who are thirsty as hell. Same thing. He said that the Arsenal have made some phone calls. Did anyone answer to those phone calls? Do we know that? Because there are no links, no nothing. Either there is nothing to link it, Arsenal got shut down heavily, or Arsenal are trying to keep something on a silent and then come closer to the 23rd, 22nd of January, we will see something emerge. That could be the case. I would rather we played that Netherlands Academy kid Kabia that we have a... Well, just live and wait. Maybe Odegaard will actually fight himself to some extent. And of course with Naipan there's also the fact that apparently Naipan wants to join Arsenal himself. He said it that he would like to join Arsenal. And look what Man City are doing. Man City, having the worst time in the league so far, in Pep's era. They didn't do much in transfer window in summer. What they do in January, they instantly address situations. They sign Victor Reis, who is a center back, Kusanov, who is a center back or defender, however you look at it, and now they have signed Marmoush. And they are still going in for a midfielder. They're gonna spunk about 200 million or so to basically get some extra guys in, to improve the squad, have some more depth in the squad, and have a proper rotation. Meanwhile, what Arsenal do? Nothing. Of course, Arsenal do nothing. And that's what's the most frustrating part with Arsenal this January window, sorry. We are linked with a few players, obviously, then it all gets shut down, and now it all goes dead quiet. And that's what's very, very annoying with Arsenal in general. That's what's very annoying. What's wrong with the club? Oh, sorry. I'm getting a cold or something. Club can't even sign one player, that is just disgraceful. Even Brighton signed big players, and we can't even sign Nico Williams for 50 million. Yeah, but that would be 50 million in release clauses and about what, 280 to 300 grand in salary. And I don't think Arsenal would want to pay him that as well. I generally don't believe Arsenal would want to pay him nearly 300 grand in salary. That is also the case. Anyhow, this is the big one. I'm scared shitless at the moment. I'm genuinely scared shitless about these news. Wait, let me refresh so you can see. I'm genuinely scared shitless about these news. I kid you not. Because these news came out about 2 hours before I went live. This is just a rumor, but bear with me here. William Saliba is not spotted in any training pictures and was seen with a slight hamstring issue near the end of the game against Spurs. And now shit gets real. Genuinely, the shit gets real to the maximum extent. Saliba is a concern for tomorrow after feeling his hamstring versus Spurs. though he finished the game. He's had a heavy workload due to White and Tomiyasu injuries. You want to tell me that Glaciasu and Ben White are the reasons why Saliba is getting injured? How about no? How about the fact that he actually has no purchased backup in the team? But this is now a big concern. This is genuinely a big concern for me. I know this AFC Amden is not the most reliable many times, but I'm talking in general. This happened 2 years ago against Sporting Lisbon when Saliba got injured and we had to play Rob Holding. Remember those days? And we signed Kivio in the transfer window. And the issue is now, we actually don't have anyone to play as a right-sided centre-back if this is true, unless we play Declan Rice as a centre-back. Because Ben White is still recovering. Timber is overplayed as hell and still, and I don't know what's going to happen with him after the ACL injury. I don't know what's going to go wrong. What can go wrong, because lots of things can go wrong. He has no backup. We can play Calafiori as a left-sided centre-back. Kivio is a left-sided centre-back. Both of them can play also a left-back. But we don't have a right-sided centre-back cover. Havertz can't even score. Exactly. This club is doing something fishy with Havertz. Feels that way, doesn't it? If Saliba's... Yeah, we are cooked. Wallahi, we are cooked. Timber, centre-back, Partey, right-back. I know Arteta. And that for me is the biggest issue. Because that is predictable as hell. Obviously, changing the team drastically before the game against Villa is a very risky thing to do because, let's be real, Unai Emery has Arteta's number most of the time, has had so far. We got a 4-2 win, lucky one. We won 2-0. This season, a very lucky win to say the least. We rode our luck like, I don't know, like proper horse rider rides his horse and everything. So this is a big question. Because for me, I would actually explore idea, right? Playing Declan Rice as a center back, and then playing Partey in the midfield with Merino, for example. That's just like a hypothetical out there. Or you actually could have a brain cell, play Rice as a center back, Partey as a 6, Miles Lewis-Skelly as an 8, put Tierney as a left back, and you could be sorted. But we all know that Mikel Arteta most likely, if Saliba is injured, is not going to do that. He's going to most likely, more than anything, he's going to take this, put Partey as a right back, Timber as a center back, and do the rest of the stuff like we all know. Even Aiden Heaven and Josh Nichols from the academy are aware what we're going to bring. Exactly. Hell no, we will get cooked like Spurs, Nathan. Are you crazy? With Partey at right back, Rice has to carry the midfield on his back because Odegaard, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. If it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. And that is kind of the motto you can basically put in a banner and put it above the Emirates, basically. Because that has been our approach in transfer windows since I can remember. When we need players. How long did it took to Arsene Wenger to replace Patrick Vieira? Oh, right, he didn't. We had Song, we had players like that here or there, but to properly replace him, we never did. We genuinely never did, for example. So it's just embarrassing. Let's be real. Because for me, it actually could be kind of nuts. It could be actually kind of interesting to see that. But it is what it is. Are you crazy? Haven't you learned from Real Madrid when they played Tchouameni at center back? Real got cooked 5-2. Yeah, but that's the risk you have to take. Or, well, basically, look, just look. Where is it? Nathan said, play Timber as a center back, Partey as a right back. You said, hell no, we will get cooked like Spurs. Nathan, are you crazy? You don't want to see Partey as a right back, Timber as a center back. Now, I suggested that we put Rice as a center back and Timber as a right back, leave Partey in the midfield because he's our best midfielder. And you said that I'm crazy. So ultimately, what you are saying, we have to play Aiden Heaven or whoever, Josh Nichols or whoever, we have to play as a center back. And to put such a youngster in the team, next to Gabriel, obviously, it could not be as bad because Gabriel is a proper one. But ultimately, it's just not good enough. They won't be good enough to deal with Duran, Watkins, Rogers. Just not going to be good enough. And that is ultimately the big question. Declan Rice has played center back to very big extent as a kid, even in academy, until he basically got a bit pushed up a bit. So it's the big issue. That's the big thing here. If I was a coach, I would play 3 at the back. So you would play 3 at the back. So how would you put the 3 at the back? Tierney, Gabriel, and what? Simba? Or something like that. Damn, Kvaratskhelia had ruined his career going to PRG. He could have been the next Neymar. Let's not over-exaggerate, but yeah, it's a shame he went there. Let's just put it that way. But this is a big worry that Saliba is not pictured in training. Now, if we look at some recent updates, nobody will deem it successful transfer until their trophy is won, but recent from aside, Kai Havertz has his... whatever. Odegaard in training. Why does he look like he's doing the ballet thing where he bows down after a spectacle or something? Why does he do that? There's Timba, Martinelli, Skelly, Gabriel, Neto with Jorginho, Arteta, Sterling, Trossard, Dauman, if I'm not mistaken, Party. Hell, no, yeah, there actually is no Saliba in the pictures. Is Arteta playing mind games, or what is he doing here? Is Arteta playing mind games, or what is he doing here? Gabriel is a leader. They will learn from the best. Big Gabi will teach them. He's in the shit. Yeah, Gabriel should be the captain of Arsenal. I cannot argue that. That's my way I look at these things as well. 3-4-1-2, yeah. 3-4-1-2 or 5-2-1-2. Basically, that's the same thing. Martinelli right wing back, Tierney left wing back. That would be actually kind of nuts. Tierney as a left wing back putting in crosses would be actually kind of insane. I actually would love to see that. Saw Tomiyasu at training before Tottenham match. Yeah, he's training on grass. That's it. But don't get too excited. He most likely in the morning will get up. He's gonna try and hit the snooze button on the alarm. He's gonna want to go to the toilet. He's gonna put one leg out of his bed. He's gonna basically trip over his slippers, and he's gonna, I don't know, break a nose or break an arm, and he's gonna be out again for 6 years. With Tierney at left wing back, Tierney as a left wing back would be amazing, because he can cross a ball. He has decent pace. He can defend. He has a decent shot on him. He actually would be cooking as a left wing back. That is the big thing. Saliba was walking wind. Don't worry. maybe Saliba was walking wind. The dog. Who knows? Maybe it was his turn this week. We will be actually good on attack on defense. That is the big thing. Would we be good with a 3 at the back? Because on paper it sounds insanely good. Would it actually translate onto the pitch is a whole different story. Genuinely whole different story. Anyhow, let's look at some words Mikel Arteta had to say before the Aston Villa game. Then we got to get into the predicted starting 11, of course, and some thoughts on the game. Have faith, Tomiyasu will be back and save our defense with Gabriel. Dude, Tomiyasu is not playing tomorrow. You can forget about it. On Erling Haaland signing a 10-year contract with Man City. That's the news. If they are willing to commit to a player for that long, it's because they're really happy, so good news for them. On injured players, here we go. We have a few decisions to make this afternoon. Oh, bloody, this already doesn't sound good. With the medical staff to understand what they are in the best condition for this game or the next one, so we will decide that. He says that every single interview, so that's nothing. Whether any of the long-term injury casualties are close, not so far. So nobody's coming back very soon. On the impact, the win, not the dog, just the win, over Spurs had on the players. I love the attitude and the team played with. We had some big performances. It was a beautiful night for us to celebrate in front of our people. We're moving to the next one now because it's a big again against Aston Villa. And he's not wrong. It's a big one. It definitely is a big one. On whether we have to be perfect for the rest of the season to win the title, we're going to try to be as good as we possibly can tomorrow night. That's the objective. They're really good side. That's why they beat us last season and proved as well then. We played at Villa Park that they are very difficult opponents, so we prepare to the best for team to win. On whether we can challenge for the title without new signings. At the moment, we don't have them. We are actively trying to find the best possible solution, but we will have to wait and see what we can do. I might be reading too much into this, but it kind of sounds that Arteta is screaming to the Cronkies, give me the goddamn money so I can sign some players. It kind of feels that way. Because the question is formatted, can we challenge for the title without new signings? Right? And he says, at the moment, we don't have them. Which means either we're gonna sign someone, or he's actually that sure that he has to basically say statements like this, so maybe Cronkies actually hear this and maybe give him some money. On the profile of player we are looking for, that's not something that I'm going to discuss here. Obviously, we have lost two massive players for us in the front line, and we need some support there. And that also sounds like a plead for the money to sign a forward. Because if he says we need some support there, it means that he actually is not oblivious to the situation, and he actually realizes that we need actually a forward. Now the question is, do we have the money? On contracts expiring for a number of players, we have certain situations with the contracts expiring. We can renew those contracts like we have done in the past. We're always actually evolving the squad and understanding what the players want to do when they finish our contract together, and we have to be prepared. Obviously, Partey, Jorginho and Tierney, all three are out of contract at the end of the season. On getting his players up for every match, not just derbies. When we have played 3 days, that's the type of performance that we want. The performance have been there, but after it's about the results, and a few things didn't go during, especially the dominance that we showed. Going 1-0 was tough mentally. I think the team showed incredible resilience. Yeah, they did. On if they're thriving on the pressure of chasing down Liverpool, I think so. If you want to be fighting for the top trophies in the top teams for 11 months like we've been doing the last 2.5 years now, you have to enjoy those kind of moments, circumstances or challenges and the pressure that comes with it, because it's the beauty of it. We're playing to win, and that's exactly why we want to be where we want to be. Yeah, sounds great in theory, but every time we have been put under some pressure, we have come up short. We have folded under the pressure. And that, again, is the dark side of the good pressure you love to see. I see us using a good high-speed passing tactics closing down teams. Maybe. Calafiori Calafiore's left-sided center back would be fantastic if we played 3 at the back. Or Havertz at number 10. Son shushed Emirates and cooked minutes later, bro. You should have been calm, bro. See what happens when you display. Exactly. But that's the history of the Tottenham. Let's be real. That's the history of the Tottenham. Spurs fans are still pissed. Trossard cooked Porro and sent him to the hospital back to Sporting. But that turn was nasty. That was genuinely nasty. He did the James Brown. Wow, I feel good. And everything. It felt like his soul left his body after that turn. On whether he wants his players to be feeling the pressure, I think the pressure comes from within. Nobody can put the pressure on you. I kind of get that statement, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's the wrong way in that case. On facing Aston Villa, we know the difficulty of the team that they are. That's why they're performing so well. They have an excellent coach, very good players, really good organization. We are so used to that in the Premier League. It's not very different every 3 days or so. We're going to have to be really good again to win the game, obviously. Given the last performance against Villa, I would be on the A game since the first second, because if we get walked through the midfield like we did against Villa at the Villa Park, I don't think we will be as lucky as we were there at that time in the beginning of the season. Let's just put it that way. On saying we are the best team without winning a title. Okay. It kind of feels a very uncomfortable question, which is very weird because you don't usually see these type of questions in the press conference, which means that one slipped through the cracks, or someone's not getting invited into any press conferences whatsoever anymore. In that case, I refer to the statistics. When you look at the stats that are relevant to do that, that's what the stats said. The reality is that we weren't because someone else won the title, so that's something. There's a margin there that we still need to improve. Improve on and be better. Mario, how you feeling, bro? Timber 1-2. I had ever said if Ange had Arsenal team, he would win Premier League. There is an argument to that to be made. There generally is an argument to that to be made, given how Ange plays, and I still stand by this fact that this team has been built to attack, not to defend. Of course. It's same as, for example, if Pep had this Arsenal team, he would win the league. If Arteta had the current City team, he would not win the league. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I saw that we are linked with Wahi again. Why we are linked with Wahi again? Again! Plus he's French. We haven't signed a French player since Wenger left. Well, Emery signed Guendouzi, so that's a bit of a lie. And Saliba he signed. But in general, Arteta hasn't signed a single Frenchman at Arsenal since he's been here. I don't see it. Nico Williams, bring him freaking in the machine, Osman, and you'll still start dominating football. That's the thing, bring in Williams, even though I'm still on the offense with Williams, I'm not gonna lie. But still, bring in Williams, bring in Osimhen, and see what happens. It's rejects again, I'm feeling them still this Chelsea man, City man. That's the thing. On December 31st, 2024, last year basically, in December 31st, we were linked with Nkunku. The Chelsea guy they signed from RB Leipzig, we were linked with Nkunku on loan. Another Chelsea reject we were linked with. Like, it's a never-ending story. Orane Slaggers being appointed as... No offense, but don't care. On reaction, the training ground from Wednesday's win, it's very good. They're really happy in the dressing room, really happy the next day, and then we started with Villa. That's it. The enjoyment or the bad mood that we can be in when you don't win, it has to disappear immediately, because the focus has to be on the next match and how you prepare the best possible way. Good waffle. How long is this interview? Holy crap, still about 15 questions. Holy crap. On how important momentum is now. We wouldn't be in the position that we are if he hadn't been stable. Well, we had some ups and downs. We've not been that stable. Obviously, we haven't lost games a lot, like in a row. We haven't drawn a lot of games in a row. It just happened. It's just a bit different, because if we lost, for example, to Newcastle and United in Premier League, it would have been a completely different story. On how important this week was in the title, it's always important we're able to win and capitalize on other teams dropping points. It's always a great week, firstly because we win, and secondly because the rest of it's not that way we wanted. We need many more of those. Let's be real, it's still 4 points with the game in hand, but I'm counting it as 7 points, because for me, I'm preparing for the worst. And then I'm going for there. And if it's 7 points, it's a 3-game swing. So basically, Liverpool need to lose 3 games and Arsenal need to win 3 games at the same time to get ahead of them. Or if there's draws involved, Arsenal need to win 5 games. That's actually insane. Anyhow, on whether longer-term contracts is where football is heading, I don't know. It looks like there have been a few examples of that. I don't know if every club... Few examples. It's like 99% Chelsea. They have signed like half their squad to the death row sentence contracts that basically last them till 2032 and stuff like that. That's on them. Don't drag us into it. On whether he would like a 10-year contract. At the moment, I have enough. That question, holy moly, I'm not gonna lie, that question with this one, on whether he would like a 10-year contract. At the moment, I have enough. Ho 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 ho. Anyways, on how important working on set pieces is. Oh, here we go, set piece FC back again. We conceded a goal from a set piece the other day. It's a balance. If you score and you concede, at the end of the balance is 0, so that's how it is. We have a coach who is responsible for that and many other things that can he does. We have some good momentum now. It's about maintaining it, attacking the defensive part of it as well. Okay, how they come up with ideas for set pieces. Oh bloody hell! On how they everything that we do is shared. Ideas for today started many years ago. Many years ago, you know. It took phase 5 for Arsenal to finally figure out how to take a corner kick. And it's not that brilliant in general. It's just put in a corner in a spot where certain players just run to. It's not that big of a thing, but I allow it because we score from there. I'm sure in 3, 6 or 9 months it's not going to work, so you constantly have to evolve. What challenges he sets for long-term injured players? Firstly, the main part is the psychological part on how they feel emotionally. A long time without doing what you love is not easy. You change routines completely. You are more isolated because you are not in a group that takes a while to handle and to settle. So, first of all, give your support to the players. Blah, 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 blah. Moving swiftly on managing Jurrien Timber's minutes. It's unbelievable what he's done, especially because he's done it on the right. He's done it on as a left fullback as well, and we are putting huge demands on him. That's the thing. When the squad is short, well, that's your fault. And you have quite a lot of injuries like we had, that's again your fault because the squad is too short. You start to load more on the players, which is not ideal. And that is a big issue. Timber, quote unquote, just came back from a 9-month ACL injury, and he basically is playing like no tomorrow. Like he cannot see the end of the light, the end of the tunnel. And that's what's very worrying, because if he goes down, it's gonna be Peakham's. On whether Mikel was involved in changing Miles Lewis-Skelly to a left back. When I saw him, I gave him a chance, and with the project that we had in the academy, that moment that I saw him, the only way I could think was to change his position. I spoke to him and said, I think this is where you are going to have it, because I think it fits a lot of his qualities. The way that we play, it fits because we had necessities in the position, so we started to work on that. He got into it straight away with the personality that he has. I think it's very obvious he's doing it. And that is the big thing. Mikel Arteta saw Miles Lewis-Skelly playing as an 8 and said, you know what? I need you to play left back. You have the qualities, we are inverting from the left, you're still going to be in the 8, but you're going to start as a left back. You just need to train certain aspects of your game to kind of fit into that left back spot a bit more comfortably. That's what it looks like on his progress since preseason. Adapting role is just on defensive part. I think physically there are very different demands. You're facing wingers a lot of times in that position. You have to be part of the defensive line. Okay. On whether it's changed from want to need in the transfer market. The word you mean. What? Well, obviously we have more necessities now because of that what happened last few weeks. That's obvious. Again, he's saying, give me the money, let me sign players. On how difficult it is to work in the market when everyone knows we need a forward. I think it's more a question for Jason Ato. I don't know, but I think we have to do what we think. I kind of am curious, what is Jason Nato doing these days? What he's doing in January? Because we have seen nothing from him. That's it, and it's clear that we'd like to improve the squad, especially with what happened. Can we do it or not? It depends on a lot of factors. Again, Cronkies, on whether Miles Lewis-Skelly could get an England call-up. Let him sell where he's at first and talk about the reality he's going in front of him. Stick with what it's right. Yeah, it's way too early to put that England pressure on him, given the fans that are sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, dumb as hell. On whether the title race is a 2-horse race, I don't think so. I think when you look at every game in the Premier League, and how can it be a 2-horse race? Like, Forest are 2 points behind us. To some extent even. City are only a few points behind. It's not like they are that far away, and we still have to play them in the February 2nd or 3rd at the Emirates, but still. We are still in January. It's going to be a long run. On the atmosphere against Tottenham, brilliant. I loved it. I said it before, that's in our hands. Yes, the atmosphere is in our hands. So it is what it is. So that has been the case. Waffle session done. He has talked a lot. Haven't seen a good French striker at Arsenal since the Gauthier and Eo fall time. To be honest, French strikers at Arsenal. Anelka? Thierry Henry, and Giroud. 3 best ones. Then you have your Sanogos and players like that. I don't count them. So we have had some good strikers, French strikers. 3 of the arguably some of the best at the time as well. Arsenal used to be very well known to have a team that is very insane with strikers. They were known for having brilliant attack as the strikers in general as well. If you look at it, Ian Wright, Kevin Campbell, rest in peace. Obviously, Adebayor, Van Persie, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp to some extent. He was like mixed, like something in between, but still was. To some extent, Olivier Giroud, of course. You can also count, what's his face, Danny Welbeck, maybe if you want to. It's a 50-50 one for me. Obviously, Aubameyang. Alexis tended to play at striker at times, and he was fantastic there. So we used to be known for having incredible strikers. Now we have nobody up top. We might as well put Win the Dog at striker. It would make no difference whatsoever. Yep, rejects, freaking rejects. Exactly. Robo, he hasn't signed a player from abroad who is a reject for attack, and never he hasn't signed a striker in general since he's been here. That's first of all, and second of all the attackers he has signed, yeah, have been a rejects actually. When you think about it, Willian, Havertz, who else is there now? Jesus. I'm not counting Trossard as a reject from Brighton solely because he fell out with the manager. That's a bit different story. That's not a reject, that's just differences in some other ways. Europe, all over in the world, the striker defender by them, yeah, it is what it is. I would even take Sane, Yildiz, or even Openda or Etegi signed. We need a striker, that is the big thing. But as much as you say you want Openda, Retegi, Yildiz and stuff like that. We want striker desperately. But to some extent, you also cannot lower your standards. That is also the big thing. Bro better start Kieran Tierney tomorrow and play Skelly in the midfield. He's not gonna do it. He genuinely is not gonna do it. Everyone's saying sign a striker, sign a winger who can boost your attack. This midfielder, left back. We genuinely, if we don't start signing players now, in summer we will need to sell about 4 or 5 players, and we will need to sign about 9. I genuinely don't believe we can do it, and we won't do it. When Arsenal have signed 9 and sold 5 players in one window. Nottingham Forest sell about 20 players and sign about 50, what it feels like. Arsenal have never done it, and I don't think they're gonna start doing it right now. That is also a big thing. But obviously, we tomorrow face Aston Villa. I'm expecting a very physical game, very high-end game, very high-energy game. I think the whole game kind of will vary on the midfield situation. Because the way they played in Villa Park, it is a bit of a rough one. Because if they start walking through our midfield like they did at Villa Park, it's gonna be a very long day for Arsenal at Emirates. Very long day. And we cannot afford to do that. There was a report, a news report where I read, right? Sorry, that what's its face? Aston Villa's midfield, right? Cost them about 60 million or 70 million only. Because they signed Tielemans for free, Kamara was for free, Rogers was 12, 15 million, something like that. McGinn also was a few million. They signed most of their players for free. That's actually kind of nuts. If you think about it. But overall, yeah, I'm expecting a tough physical game. They will try to take revenge for what happened at Villa Park, because for me, that game, we should have been 2-0 down before we even scored the first goal. Double save by Raya on Watkins. Watkins misses legitimately 100% empty net. That also, how that happened, I have no idea at the time, but we got lucky in that regard. That game was a rough watch, I'm not gonna lie. So they're definitely gonna try to avenge that. They also, last year, they beat us 2-0 at the Emirates, so they're gonna try and repeat that. It's gonna be a rough one. It generally is going to be a rough one, and I'm expecting a very strong 11 from Villa, even though they just played Everton in a very rough game at their stadium. So, still, Villa will do good, and that's what is worrying. That's what is worrying. Emery also overall. If you look at the overall picture, wait, let's look at this. 11v11 Arsenal versus Villa. Arsenal versus Aston Villa, right? Which year did Emery sign for Villa? Emery signs for Villa. Unai Emery. New contract. Aston Villa agreed the deal to sign Andres Garcia. New 5-year. When did Unai Emery sign for Villa? In October 22. October of the year 2022. October 2022. So basically, Unai Emery has faced with Aston Villa Arteta 4 times. He has 2 wins, 2 draws. Arsenal have 2 wins, 2 draws. When we win, we score at least 2 goals. When we lose, it's basically by a clean sheet. And we have lost at home and away. Also in Champions League with Villarreal, he bested us. He got best of us. So overall, they have faced each other in 6 games, and 4 of them have been won by Unai Emery, which is worrying. Yes, there was a draw, but I'm counting it as a loss at the time. So that is a big thing for me. I swear, Odegaard. And Havertz, you better not... Oh, Havertz better not miss empty nets again tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. So, I think the defensive line kind of picks itself, doesn't it? Knowing how Mikel Arteta usually does things. And this is going off the fact that Saliba is not injured. Because... Saliba injury. Is it... There are any updates? There's still no updates. Saliba is concerned for tomorrow after feeling a hamstring versus Spurs. Tough, though he finished the game. He's had a heavily workload due to White and them missing. And on top of that, he hasn't been pictured in the training today. So it is a massive worry. I think this will be the backline if Saliba is fully fit. Let's be real. The question is who we play as a left back. Skelly or Tierney? Because the biggest thing is 99% chance that Skelly is going to start, right? Let's be real. 99% chance that Skelly is going to start. The way I look at this, and this will sound wild, I think, I'm actually happy with Tierney as a left back and with Skelly as a left back. In a way, who starts, I don't mind. I don't care as much. Because they both can do the job defensively. They both offer different dimensions going forward. One inverts, one overlaps, depending how Arteta wants to play the game. So, ultimately, if Arteta wants to use Tierney as a super sub and again as a left wing, I think he most likely is gonna go for Skelly. I know Skelly just played a massive game, but I think Skelly is going to play no matter what in that regard. Tierney, Saliba, Gabriel. Timba, Tomiyasu is not back. Chill. Tomiyasu is not back. Arteta already said that. If he's not fit. Saliba ain't fit, but... if Saliba is not fit, I'm gonna lose my marbles tomorrow before the game. You know what's the worst part? On one level, it's the worst part. Another level, it's the best part. Arsenal's game finishes half an hour before I usually go live. So you will have more... There's a big chance if we lose, you will have a very, very hot-headed side of version of me. And you will have a very raw live reaction for you on the result. Usually we don't have those. We have had that against Brighton, but we haven't had that against Villa, so you will see that as well. In the midfield, it has to be Partey. Now the big thing is, we all saw what happened at Villa Park. Rice and Party got spun left, right, up, down, inside out by everyone. Big chance that Arteta has no imagination. As we all know, he's very set in his ways. So this will be the first 8 players of the team, which is basically the same that we put out against Tottenham. Very sorry. So that just leaves the front line. And this is the big issue for me. Because Havertz most likely is going... We don't have many options. Havertz has to start. I would start Martinelli. And then I will play Trossard. I would bench Sterling because he generally has done nothing. Whether Trossard plays right wing or left wing, I don't care. They can interchange, they can swap them around. But initially, I think this will be the starting 11 for that game. This will be the starting 11 for tomorrow's game. Those are my initial thoughts and my prediction. If we look at the game, how it could go, I think it will end... It's very interesting. It's a, after long North London derby, there will be emotional lift. We will push forward. There's a big chance we're gonna get countered quite heavily with pace, with Duran, with Rodgers, or Watkins, or whoever. So it's gonna be a rough one. I can see them scoring 100%. How will Arsenal? Obviously, Villa just signed Daniel Malen, by the way, ex-Arsenal, from Arsenal Academy for 25. He went to Borussia Dortmund. He just signed from Borussia Dortmund. So it's very interesting how that will develop as well, how that dynamic will put itself into the play. Because again, just like with Eddie Nketiah, as it was destined for him to score against Arsenal, there's a big possibility Daniel Malen will score against Arsenal tomorrow. But I think I'm gonna go with... I'm gonna go with 2-2 draw. I don't know why, but this game screams a draw for me. I can see Arsenal winning, but yeah, it will be a rough one. So I'm going for a 2-2 draw for Arsenal tomorrow against Aston Villa. I think Arsenal will do good. They will try their best. I think again they will go down before they're gonna have to claw back games. As we all know, against Emery, it's very hard to claw back points and claw back goals. So I think it will be either one of the teams gonna go forward, one of the teams gonna make a comeback, and I think it's gonna end in a draw. I'm personally going for 2-2 draw, and when I predict these results as well, 2-1, 2-2, 3-1, and stuff like that, I predict them, yeah. But when I watch Arsenal play and miss empty net chances, I always also think to myself, how are we gonna score these 3 goals if we keep missing empty nets, if we keep wasting our chances like it's nothing, it doesn't mean anything. And that for me is a big thing. But I still believe we're gonna score 2 goals. I think how this game could go. I think Martinelli is gonna score, I think, tomorrow. And Martinelli, looking at how we play, Martinelli and... What the hell? I'm going with Havertz. Havertz is going to score the second goal tomorrow. Martinelli and Havertz is going to score, and the game is going to end in 2-2 draw. That is my prediction for tomorrow's game. So let me know what you think down in the comments, down in the chat, in the live chat, or in the comments if you're watching this as a playback. On that note, I think I'm gonna end the stream. You have been freaking fantastic. Big up Marlon, big up Nathan, everyone who joined. See you all tomorrow after the game. Hopefully it will be on a positive note. It's not gonna be a negative one. Arsenal won't let us down. That's the hope, at least. That is the big hope. I'm going for 2-2 draw, right? Let me know down in the comments under this stream, this video, what you think, how this is gonna end. But for today, I am out. Take care, stay safe, and dude, Arsenal, don't let us down tomorrow. 3 points collecting.